welcome to another awesome video lesson from Bauer Guitar Lessons. I'm Brent Bauer, Mr. Brent, and this is for the week of April 24th, 2018, and this lesson was... Awesome. Oh yeah. Alright, so that it was. So the first thing we did is we went back to that Learning the Notes series where we learned the F notes going through with all the fretboard shapes, which sounded awesome. Awesome, double awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next one for next week, and there's only a couple more left, so stay tuned for that one. Alright, and that brought us to Super Mario Brothers, where we reviewed it, and then we recorded it, which sounded really good. So now you have a recording of that, and now for next week we're going to go back into Pirates, so stay tuned for that one. And that brought us to the moving chromatic exercise, where we reviewed and 93 beats per minute, and then we brought it down a little bit and then brought it back up to 93, and that sounded really good. So for practicing for this week, I want you to practice the moving chromatic now at 95 beats per minute. So we're really close to 100, 5 beats away right there. So awesome. So we'll go ahead next week and review that and see if we can bring it up closer and closer to 100, or maybe bring it to 100. So stay tuned for that one. And that brought us to the next big thing, which we went back to House of the Rising Sun, where we learned about a new time signature. So remember, time signature is how we count. So we have the 1, 4, 4, and on the top that means 4 beats. So 4 beats per measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we just go back to the next measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it just keeps repeating till the end of the song. And the one we have now is called 6/8 timing for House of the Rising Sun, and the 6 on the top means there's 6 beats per measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it goes back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now with 4/4 timing, we look at the bottom number, and what that means, that 4, is that the quarter note gets the beat. So quarter note is 1 beat, so it's going to be 1 beat, and that's what goes through all 4 of those beats on the top. 6/8, the 8 is on the bottom, which makes that the 8th note gets the beat. So all those 6 beats there, that's with the 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now, let's go into this a little bit more. Let's zoom in a sec. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6/8 timing. There's emphasis on the first beat and the 4th beat. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's how it's counted. So now let's go ahead back into House of the Rising Sun and see how this riff sounds with that 6/8 timing. So let's zoom in and see what we got here. Okay, so now the drums are set, and let's go ahead and just give it a little bit extra volume here. So let's go ahead and hear that count. So notice on the 1st and 4th beat we hear the drum. 4. Just a little emphasis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So now with that, let's turn off for a sec. Let's go into our chords. Now A minor, we got that picking pattern here, where we start with the A string, open, then we go to the G, B, high E, and then come back up on B, and up on G. So let's look at that. How many times do we play that? That's the 1st beat, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Notice the 1st and 4th beat. 1st beat's on that open A. High E is the 4th beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then again with the C chord, same exact thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the D chord. Now we're just going to drop down the root note. It's on the D string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everything else is the same except that very 1st note. Then the F chord, starting on the D again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we turn our drums back on, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, hear that constant beat there? It's helping you give you the cues. So that first beat, fourth beat. So first beat, fourth beat. So that's where you want to end up right there. Now, let's go ahead and just go work on the chord transitions. It's a little fast at first because we're dealing with all these different chords, A minor, C, D, and F, lots of jumping around. So the first thing we want to do is really get the chords down. 5, 6, so A minor, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to C, 3, 4, 5, 6 to D, 3, 4, 5, 6 to F, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A minor, 4, 5, 6, and C again, 4, 5, 6 to D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to F, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want you to go ahead and just keep playing just those chords. Don't worry about A minor to E major. I want you to really get a feel for those first 4 chords there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to loop this drum beat in a sec. I want you to use that to just practice on your own with. But before we do that, just notice I played on the first beat and the fourth beat for each one. All we did that is to emphasize which beats are going to get the strong beats in the time signature here. So again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to D. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to F. Alright, very nice. So now I want you to go ahead and take this time. I want you to first practice with the chords, and then after you feel like you got that pretty good, pretty strong, then I want you to try to do the picking with it. So go ahead and take this time and go and practice both. So the first one first, and then once you got that, practice the second one with the picking. Here we go. Alright, very cool, awesome job. So with that, I want you to take a couple things out. So first thing is really get a feel for the counting. So try to count along with it. And then work on just the chords, because you want to really get those transitions very smooth, going back and forth between the 4 chords there. And then once you feel like you got that, go ahead and add the picking into it. And remember just where all the parts are. So like at the A minor chord, that first beat's with that open A string. The fourth beat is on the open high E string. So try to see that and try to be able to play it right in time. And then for next week, we'll go ahead and review that. So stay tuned for that one. Awesome job. And then that brought us to the last thing, which we started to introduce a new song, What I Like About You, which sounds like this. And then this little part. And we're going to start learning that part right there, so using those chords. So we're starting to learn a new chord, and one of the chords is the A major chord. That's the new chord right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go over this, and I really want you to practice this one throughout the week. So let's zoom in and see what we got here. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to start off, thumb is going to go ahead and mute out that low E string, and then we're going to take our first finger over to fret 2 onto the D string. And I want you to just go ahead and put it right to the beginning of the fret, because what's going to happen, all 3 of these fingers here, first, second, and third, are going to be on the same fret, fret number 2. Second finger's going down to second fret on the G string, and then third finger's going down to second fret on the B string. So let's try out these D, G, and B strings. now we have an open A and then an open high E. Okay, so now let's put them all together. And let's drum. Okay, one of the trickiest things, especially with our thumb coming down here, is getting that high E string to ring out. A lot of times we'll get that. It's because our hand is kind of falling right onto it. So all we want to do is be able to arch our fingers a little bit more, try to squeeze that pick underneath, and that will help us be able to clear our hand from hitting that high E string. So go ahead and keep trying that until you get that clean. So you hear that ringing out there. So again, just put that pick underneath and try to really get those arches in the fingers there. Again, we go through, thumb muting the low E string, open A, and second fret on the D string, second fret on the G, second fret on the B, and that open high E string. And there's a major chord. Alright, very cool, awesome job. So I want you to go ahead and break that down step by step. So just try a couple at a time. Try that first finger first with the thumb, and then try to get those first couple strings to ring out. Then add the second finger, then add the third finger, and then really work on getting that high E string to ring out. Remember to use that pick to help give those fingers those arches there. Alright, very cool job. So again, for this week, for practicing, what I want you to do is go back to that moving chromatic, now at 95 beats per minute, using eighth notes, and then also go through House of the Rising Sun, and that's going to be using that A minor to C to D to F chord progression, using 6/8 timing, and play it along with that drum machine in the video. And then also go ahead and go through the A major chord, and you'll be all set for next week. Alright, well that's going to wrap up this video lesson, so I hope you got a lot out of it, enjoyed yourself. So stay tuned, because there's plenty more coming, and always remember, always strive to be
in perfect harmony.
Take care.